So
For
let's
sure.
take that and bring it into Mattress running the numbers, because Mattress running the numbers this week, what we have to look at is that Delta Reserve card, right?
Right. So the question I want to ask is whether it's worth signing up for that Delta Reserve card and spending your way to Platinum Elite status. And I'm picking Platinum Elite status for a couple of reasons. One is it's the level right below top, but it's the first level that gives you access to upgrade certificates. So that's the level at which you get those regional upgrade certificates we were talking about. And we just finished talking about how much more valuable they are now. So you want to spend your way to do that. Does that make sense to do? Um, then the reason I'm not saying let's evaluate right now, going all the way to diamond status, is just that that's a very, very high hurdle, because not only do you need 125,000 MQMs to get to Delta Diamond status, but you also need to either spend $15,000 on Delta flights for the year, or you have to get a waiver by spending $250,000 on Delta cards.
That's a lot of cheddar, Greg.
So that's a lot, right? So let's do the easier one, because to get a waiver for up to Platinum Elite status, you only have to spend $25,000 on Delta cards, and that's very reasonable, especially considering we're talking about spending more than that to earn MQMs. Okay.
Right. So every on the reserve card, every 30K spend gets you bonus MQMs, right?
That's right.
So if you get the card, you meet the minimum spending requirement, you're going to get yourself 20K MQMs. If you spend a total of $30,000 on the card, you get what? A bonus 15,000 MQMs? Is that what it is?
That's the standard, but you're getting 25% more than that now, which is 18,000 and change.
So if you spend just 30,000 on the card, you would end up with, help me here, 38,000 and change miles. Is that right?
Right. So I did do the math to figure out
Okay.
how much you'd have to spend to get to platinum status
Perfect.
if you did one card.
Okay.
So meaning you just get one Delta Reserve card. Ideally, again, the business one, so you get the $200 back. But either one, you get the same number of MQMs. And if you spend $90,000 on it, you'll get back 56,250 MQMs from that spend. Add in the 20,000 MQMs from the sign up bonus, and that's over 70. That's just over the 75,000 MQMs needed for platinum status, which is a very high level status. So okay, so
So 90K spent.
$90,000.
91
That's
card, 90K spent.
right, right. So obviously that's a lot of spend. Now it is coming. Tax season is coming upon us, and I bring that up because there are 3 different services that let you pay your taxes with a credit card, and they all now charge about a 2% fee to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you round up to 2% and say, all right, here's the plan. I know that I can, now this might be a stretch, but just work with me here.
Okay, I'm going to work with you. I'll let you go.
Imagine you could float the 90,000 until the tax rebate comes. But
who knows how long that's going to be? But okay, let's
so
let's imagine that.
This is just so we could do the
run the
math.
We're mattress running.
So basically, you're spending the 2% in order to spend $90,000. You're giving the IRS a loan. When they find out that you overpaid, they pay you back. 2% of the $90,000 comes to $1,800 you're spending to get platinum status. So that might sound like a lot of money, and it certainly is.
Like a small amount.
No, it certainly is a lot of money.
Okay.
But it's not just the 4 regional upgrade certificates you're getting from that. You're also getting the 90,000 miles from the spend. Every dollar you spend is getting a mile. So that's worth at least $900 back. So now we've cut down if you think of it as $900 cash, or you're sort of down to about $900 cost to get the Platinum Elite status, which comes with all kinds of benefits. Free upgrades. You don't have to use these regional upgrade certificates to get upgraded. You could take a chance and you get upgraded once you get on the upgrade list, which happens automatically. I think it's 3 days before or 5 days before your flight, and You also get better like Delta service. When you call them, you get answered quicker, and there's a lot of little perks to platinum status that are worth considering. And of course, you get the 4 regional upgrade certificates. But backing up to platinum status, that's good not just for the rest of this year. It's good for all of next year and through January of the year after that. So you're talking about, if you really did this like now, you're talking about getting status for almost 2 full years, getting this high level status. So that's what you're getting for $1,800 out of pocket. Again, so I'm not counting all of. So the Delta Reserve card itself has features you're getting,
of course,
and of course the sign up bonus that you're getting. So what I don't think we should do is say is add those things into the mileage, into the mattress running numbers, because
those are always there.
Let's just say all that stuff is great stuff to have, and the annual fee is disappointing that you have to pay it, but you're more than getting paid back for the annual fee by the sign-up bonus and all those other perks, right? So we could just sort of say all that stuff, that's a good offer by itself, right?
Right.
Signing up for the Delta Reserve card, getting all the points, that's a good offer by itself. Now we're just looking at, does it make sense? Spend 90 grand with a 2% fee in order to secure Platinum Elite status.
Talk to me about these regional upgrade certificates. Like, what can you upgrade with a regional upgrade certificate? Like, I mean, how big is the region?
So you can upgrade most of Delta's flights to Hawaii, theoretically. And when I say most, like, they don't allow the ones that go anywhere near the East Coast. So those really long range ones are not upgradable, but the ones from the West Coast or Salt Lake City, I believe, are upgradable. That said, I looked at a few sample dates. I didn't see any upgrade space. Now that I can see it, so
now it just confirms that it's impossible to get that.
So good luck there. Another one that people love to use it on is the flights from California, especially LA or San Francisco to New York. Those flights have the lie flat seats. They're really competitive routes. And it's competitive to use those, but I was able to find it, just by poking around a couple dates. I found at least one nonstop that was upgradable with a regional upgrade certificate. So that's really good, because those flights are very expensive. They charge a lot for first class for those. So, the value you're getting for the upgrade is pretty big. They also tend to be elite heavy. So by securing it in advance means you're not stuck at the gate trying to upgrade with everyone else, which is very unlikely.
Especially if you have lowly platinum status. I say lowly, but that's because I shouldn't say most. There'll be many people at major airports like that have Delta Diamond status. So your chances of getting a free upgrade on one of those premium transcons is probably low as a platinum member. But if you use one of those certificates in advance, then you lock that in.
Right. And so you can upgrade Aeromexico flights, at least ones between the US and Mexico. And I'm not sure if beyond that, but I don't know the rules. You can upgrade Delta flights, to Central America. Oh, with a gotcha. So
with a gotcha,
Delta differentiates their first class. Like on some flights, it's called first class, and on some flights, it's called Delta One. If you're flying outside of the US and it's called Delta One, you can't do it according to the rules. But if you're flying first class, then you can. And usually, not always, but usually that's like lie flat seat or not, right? So it's like the shorter hot, like, so flying Atlanta to Costa Rica, those appeared to be first class, and those are probably just upright recliner type of seats, your standard kind of domestic first class. Whereas I looked at I think it was Atlanta to Lima, and that said Delta One on it. So it's like, darn, because that was one of those flights that was super cheap. This
just recently the rewards,
really so you could use a global upgrade certificate if you had diamond status, but you can't use a regional for that. So Yeah.
So they can be pretty valuable. I mean, that's I'm when you say regional, somebody who doesn't fly Delta often, I picture something that's like, a region like the East Coast of the United States or something. I don't picture upgrading a flight to Costa Rica or a
Right.
flight from the West Coast to
Right.
Hawaii. So those are actually pretty
Oh,
valuable.
right. And I should have mentioned, since I mentioned Lima, I'm pretty sure Northern South America is included under those conditions
I
I
know
was
this.
saying,
Okay.
that if there's any first class flights as opposed to
That's
Delta One.
Delta One. Okay. So
Yeah.
non-Delta One first class flights
Right. Right.
to Northern
Delta
South
One's okay within the US, not okay. It's least it's okay within the continental US. It's probably not okay to Hawaii, but I'm not sure about that. And it's definitely not okay outside of the US.
So,
All
so,
right.
so how many of those certificates you get at platinum status?
You get four.
Four. Okay, so four of those. Four of those. I mean, that's not bad. So you get a
You,
round trip for two people, right? Two round trips,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. Because each one will upgrade you one way. So even if you have multiple segments, it can be used for multiple segments. No guarantee those segments all be available, but it is certainly possible to find that.
So pretty valuable perk. So is it worth spending? We're saying a net $900-ish to get two of those that you can use round trip. So you'll get that plus whatever other perks of platinum status, of course, free bags and, somebody's going to be extra nice to you when you call customer service or, little things like that. You probably get a little tag in your bag or something that says, hey, taking this one off the plane first.
Yeah, you do get a brag tag.
Right.
It's funny. I'm kind of blanking on what the sort of more concrete benefits are,
You
even though
probably
I've
board a
written
little
them.
earlier than I do if you got platinum
Oh, yeah,
status.
definitely, definitely.
No.
I've written 100 posts on it, but
Right,
it's
right. So there's some
not top of mind right now.
advantages
But
there. So
there are definitely perks that make traveling on Delta more pleasant in a number of ways. I mean, even so here's another one. You can when you're buying an economy flight. This has nothing to do with upgrade certificates, but you will get upgraded to Comfort Plus immediately upon booking, whereas Gold and Silver members can still get a free upgrade to Comfort Plus, but not until right before the flight, kind of like. So Gold is like a few days before, and so that's big deal because Comfort Plus tends to fill up, and so if you want to sit in Comfort Plus, it's going to be very hard to guarantee it if you have less than Platinum status, unless you pay for it. With Platinum, you don't have to pay for it. Same
I
with
like not paying for it.
yeah,
I like
same with
that.
you can secure like exit row seats at the time of booking instead of waiting and so on.
And that can
So
be really nice too.
yeah,
So
oh, absolutely. No, it definitely makes the experience of flying Delta domestically significantly better. Yeah.
all right. So and that's with a one card solution. So let's
Mhm.
evaluate. I assume you did the math on a two card solution
I
too.
did not.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. All right. Well, we could probably run it really fast. But so one card, if you're going to do one Delta card, either the reserve business or the reserve consumer, about $900 cost to end up with all that. What do you say? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Is that mattress run worthy? Should you put 90K spend on a Delta card to get that? What do you think?
So I like to think of it as like spending 1,800 and getting all those other things, including
Okay.
the 90,000 miles. And
All
the
right.
reason I'm putting it that way is I think it's best compared to someone who would otherwise, if you would otherwise consider real uh, not mattress runs, but mileage runs where you would book Delta flights to fly around to different places and come back. Think of it instead of that. How much would you spend for a couple of these flights in order to get the elite status you want? And if you're trying for platinum status, I'm betting you probably going to be spending more than $1,800. So I think
Probably
if
the time. And the time. You're going to
right,
also be spending the
and
time to do that versus sitting in your pajamas.
right, and so the contrary point would be, but wait, I'm going to earn miles for those flights. I'm going to earn this and that. Well, yes, but you're also going to earn miles when you're spending on the credit card to do this. So let's just pretend you'll earn the same amount either way, but and then say, okay, I think that if you're someone who would consider the mileage running then I would say if you could swing these, putting that much money on credit cards, that's a better way to do it. I wouldn't tell someone though, if you're like if you haven't been thinking about elite status, I wouldn't say, "Oh, have I got a good idea for you?" I think that's a bit much.
I mean, it does seem like an expensive approach if you weren't already considering elite status. And certainly, while I agreed with the fact that you said that the perks of the reserve card and the 80,000 points it comes with more than mitigate the annual fee, the truth is, if you also have the platinum as an option right now, you could have even more redeemable miles for less fee and
That's true.
arguably a better deal. So it's a little tough. We're playing with the numbers there a little bit. It certainly does more than mitigate the fee, but you have another option if you haven't had the platinum card.
Right.
All right. So I think I would agree with you that if you are someone who would consider mattress running, or excuse me, mileage running, flying and using your money and time in order to earn extra Delta miles, this is a much better deal. And I think you also have to consider, is it worth it? Because am I going to be able to use those perks anytime soon? I don't know. I would think that next year you'll certainly be able to use the perks, or at least I sure hope. This year, I don't know when everyone's going to be flying again. So you got to consider how much flying you think you'll probably do this year and whether or not you're going to get much value out of the perks during that time. Like I said, I imagine you'll probably be able to use them next year, if nothing else. So I think I'll agree with you that for those folks who would mileage run otherwise, it's a thumbs up on this one. Now, real quick, I did just in my head do the math. If you were going to do the reserve business and personal,
Right.
then you would end up with 40K MQMs from the sign up bonus. So if you spent $60,000
Yeah.
over those two cards,
So
then
that's
you would
still
end up with enough.
$1,200 at 2%,
Right.
which is still quite a lot, right?
Right.
Now, a realistic scenario, though, if you're someone who flies Delta a reasonable amount, maybe you have silver status, so you have MQMs rolling over from previous years, maybe the getting two cards, that's 40,000 MQMs, and spending 30,000 on one of them is going to be maybe enough to get you to platinum status. So
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Or maybe even just the 40,000, depending on how much you had that rolled over, because Delta rolled
right.
everything over from last year, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a good chance that you might already have a decent stash of miles. And if that's the case, then those two cards might really make sense, because those 40,000 points, if they're going to push you up over platinum status, 40,000 MQMs for paying the annual fee on two of those reserve cards and also picking up the other sign-up bonus perks, then I think it's probably worth it.
But don't forget, you still have to spend 25,000 in order to get the waiver,
the
MQD waiver to let you get platinum status. And so once you spent 25,000, you might as well spend 30, get the 15 bonus. So depending on where you're at, one card might be plenty if you add in the 18,000 and change MQMs you get from spending $30,000 on it. So, yeah, I would look at that first. Look at getting the one card and the 30K spend. Say, is that enough? No. Okay, maybe then get two cards.
Is it worth getting the second card over doing another 30K spend? So if you have one card, right, another 30K spend will give you 18K MQMs, right? Or you get a second card and 5K spend gets you 20K MQMs.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. I would almost lean towards doing the spend because well, a couple reasons. If you have a slot open for another card, you might, like Nick said a minute ago, you might be better off getting a platinum card or a gold card. And the other thing is, as I talked about before, like it's kind of a shame having two reserve cards because of all the overlapping benefits. Like it's great having like Sky Club access, but having it twice doesn't do you any darn good.
Right.
So it's a little too bad. Oh yeah, I forgot one cool perk of the Delta Reserve card that's not well understood is that if you're booked into a flight with people the same elite status as you and have the same fare class, like they also booked with miles or they also booked whatever, the same economy fare class, you get ahead of them in the upgrade queue.
It's a tiebreaker.
It's a tiebreaker, yeah. It's nothing to do with sort of like the regional upgrade certificates. That's a whole different thing. But as far as free upgrades, it's a tiebreaker. So that's kind of a neat little thing that
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't have any proof that it works because how would you ever know?
You have to ask
But
the other person whose
theoretically,
name was on the list. Hey, do you have the reserve card?
right, right. And how much? What
Gotcha.
did you pay for your ticket? What fare class
Gotcha.
was that?
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So and you don't need two of those for that because it only do you good once. And really, the more I
Yeah.
think about it, it's kind of a waste because you would almost want to have that other reserve card at some other time so you can have those perks again, right? You wouldn't
Oh,
necessarily
that's a really good point.
like
Yeah.
have it overlap, right? Because I mean, you only
Right.
earn the bonus on it once, then you don't want the valuable perks to overlap because you're probably not going to keep both of them. So you'd want to have them like maybe in successive years or something like
That's
that.
a great point because so remember, you'll have status until January of 2023. So if in January 2023, that's 2 years from now almost. If they bring back a similar deal, then maybe your status lapse for a few months, and then you get it back by signing up for the second reserve card and doing a
Right.
bunch of spend.
Right.
So yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely plays there.
So stick with one of them, I guess, and do the
I
spend if you can.
I think for most people, yeah, I think that makes sense.
There you go. All right. So that was Mattress running the numbers. That brings us to post roast, I think.